because I actually did it work for like
you?
5 months. I actually used to watch you. I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want to seem like, oh, hey, I used to watch you. Like, I didn't want to, because that sometimes I get a bad taste.
No,
like,
I know what you mean.
That's funny because we were just talking about that too.
So I was like, hey, but low key, I was like, I watched you before,
That
but low
is
key,
so
I'm not
funny.
gonna.
I love it.
Hey, Connor, I know you. I know everything
you.
you've been through. Like
that super weird
your
fan,
stalker.
right? Got freaking pictures on the wall and
oh
stuff.
hell no, hell no.
Have like a little shrine.
Right, I know.
Girl, I did learn the other day because somebody like tried to create a catfish account of me and like even put in their profile that I had an OnlyFans. I'm like,
Oh wow.
whoa, this one is like I've had this stuff before, but OnlyFans, you're pushing it.
Yeah, like you're
I'm
pushing
like,
it, and you don't have an
whoa,
OnlyFans.
No.
Okay, yeah, I was like, no, I
I'm
couldn't
like,
see you
wait a
doing that,
minute.
but
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, no, but I did learn from that. They're like, well, leave it up because apparently you get closer to getting a blue check mark on Instagram.
Yeah.
oh, so you're like,
Yup.
hey.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, people, keep replicating.
Keep making those
making
fake
OnlyFans
accounts.
for real, making
Yeah.
OnlyFans page for like marketing tips.
Yeah,
and,
for
like,
marketing tips.
have, like, a
Seriously.
really, like, catfish profile with and then they click on it.
Yeah.
Just
And
they're like,
marketing.
And it'd be a freaking dude with hair all over his chest.
Just a bunch of nude shades of
Right.
lipstick.
For real. I have a question. Do you get catfished a lot then? Like people.
I've had a few times where like I actually had to get the police involved.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and it was, I don't know, this first time that it kind of like really creeped me out because they had pictures of my daughter and everything in
Okay,
it.
yeah, that's
Yeah, that's pushing it.
That's
Too
and then
far.
just like talking about a lot. It was really odd because there was like this person who was impersonating me.
that's weird.
Like basically had a ongoing relationship with this guy in Denver, Colorado. Yeah, it was nuts. And the guy in Denver who like thought he was
talking to
dating
you.
me.
Did he actually find out?
He ended up like reaching out to me, thank God. And like I ended up having to talk to the police out there because they just like, I mean, this person
That's
even had
scary.
like
That's a little scary.
like receipts for plane tickets to like go out there and stuff. And like they were talking about my grandfather who had just like recently passed away 6 months ago before that, and just
Okay, that's
weird
like
stuff.
that stalker crap.
Yeah,
that
and like
should not be
even
happening.
had like gotten videos from my old Snapchat that had never been posted anywhere. So yeah,
Oh, that is
deleted
so
that
weird.
Snapchat. Yeah,
That's
it was just really.
weird.
Ugh.
That's weird. We used to do YouTube, and a guy kind of similar to yours asked about like, oh, can I have pictures of your son? He's
Yeah.
so cute.
Weird.
We're like, what? And he emailed us. I'm like,
Yeah.
ew.
After that, we were like, we're done
You're
putting
like,
the kids
yeah.
online.
And that's
Right.
like that's really why I hardly ever post anything at Presley anymore because
Yeah.
I'm like,
weirdos.
you can mess with me and I'll figure it out. You mess with my child,
Mama
and
Bear's coming after you.
Crazy. It's
Crazy.
crazy world we live in. I
It's
hope you all
insane.
are protecting your family out there and making sure you're taking the proper steps because the internet is scary
It is
sometimes.
nuts.
But yeah,
Like,
There's
thank you
benefits
all.
to it, but it's scary.
Yeah.
Okay.
People
Exactly.
have too much time
Benefits.
on their hands, apparently.
Exactly.
Benefits was scary. But thank you all for joining us on this Monday morning with another episode of People Being People.
Woo, woo.
We have a super special guest today. I'm super excited to get into this, and we're just going to have an open talk and just chill and, you know, go across the board,
Entertain.
talk about
Entertain.
everything.
Entertain.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Super fun guest.
Welcome,
but yeah,
Connor.
this is People Being
really
People with
excited.
Mona and Tyler, Tyler and Mona. Happy Monday, everyone. Let's
Woo,
get to
woo.
it. Self-love isn't an easy journey.
Especially when you've came from a really broken place inside of you.
It's an everyday choice.
So, hello. Thank you for coming on.
I finally got
Everyone.
I know.
Like
This
my
is-
fault.
Mona,
What?
you have to give our guest the proper introduction. This is Connor Stewart.
my God,
everyone.
I don't want to say her last name because it's embarrassing how I say Stewart.
No, I think it's hilarious.
God!
Like literally
Wait,
hilarious. My
wait.
nickname when I was in elementary school was Stuart Little. So
Oh,
I love that movie, by
I
the
do
way.
too, but at the time I was like, I'm not a
Not,
effing mouse.
right, I'm not a mouse.
I'm not a
F you.
freaking mouse.
So you obviously grew up in Sioux Falls.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
What schools did you go to?
Well, I started out in private school at Calvin Christian, which is part of Sioux Falls Christian.
Oh,
Yeah. And
okay.
then I went to Sioux Falls Christian through 6th grade, and then I switched to public school, went to Patrick Henry.
Oh, you went to Patrick. I
Yep.
went to Edison.
And then I was supposed to go to Edison. I can't remember why we open enrolled into Patrick, but we did.
But we did.
But we did.
Did you go to Lincoln?
No.
Oh.
I ended up going to Roosevelt.
I went to Roosevelt too.
Did you really?
Yeah.
What
all
year
these
did you
things.
graduate?
2010.
From? Okay,
Wow,
2010.
that's a long
So
time
that
ago.
was a year before me.
2000. When did I? 15. Well, I was online because I had Aaliyah, so
Right.
low key I cheated like my whole last 2 years. I literally was online just looking up the answers on school.
Google.
Just
What is this
Google.
equation that answers to this?
A 4.0 GPA low key
Why
was the
not?
internet.
Sorry,
Thank you, Google.
Throughout high school, a couple girls did like all my work.
Really?
During
You never
class.
told me that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. I forget one of their names, but her name was Diamond. Yeah. All my
Diamond.
tasks-
Diamond.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
She rich,
So, yeah,
diamond.
that's how I-
Just kidding.
That's how you
That's
did
how
it.
I- yeah.
That's how you did
That's
it.
how he got that
you
diploma.
did
Chicago
it for
public
real.
schools, like Chicago public schools, most of the people we only went to school so we had something to do during the day.
Right.
Like, we weren't learning much. Like the teachers weren't doing anything. The
Yeah.
teachers were kicked back behind their desks. Most of them. I maybe had like 2 or 3 teachers that cared, but for the most part, everybody was just playing cards and
Doing what they
what
Doing.
did.
It wasn't
Yeah.
like that here.
No.
It was strict here.
It was.
I skipped once, and while I was at Roosevelt,
Yeah.
and my parents got called and shit.
Well,
so.
I remember the first day of freshman year, me and a friend of mine literally weren't doing anything wrong. He maybe said like one word to me during this assembly. It was like literally the first day of school. Got kicked out of the assembly.
Oh my
in front of
gosh.
everyone.
My face would have been so red.
I was like
Ooh!
making mom and dad proud.
Oh, sorry, mom and dad. How were you in high school? Like, what were you like?
chair.
Starting out. Okay, well, because I literally went from private school to public school.
So it was way different.
It
was
was-
it a little shot or was it the same?
I mean, it was same but different. I mean, obviously a lot more people.
mm-hmm.
The private school was like super cliquey, which was one of the main reasons why we left that school.
I see.
Like small town.
And then public school, kind of found myself into the wrong group of friends right away.
That was me, girl. It was me
Yeah.
too. I feel like we have a lot in common.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yep. So I mean, but then again, at the same time, I was dancing still, which I'm still dancing. But
Oh, really?
so
I
I
didn't
had
know you danced.
Yeah,
We got to get into that.
we'll get into that.
yeah,
We'll
yeah.
get into that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was in dance like basically every single day because we'd have practice already after school, and I was on the school's dance team and then also a club team.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and our club team traveled all the time.
Oh,
so
really?
I had a super busy schedule, but yet had my bad influence group of friends.
Exactly.
And then, but my senior year, I got injured, and that's kind of when I spiraled out of control.
Oh, yeah. So did you have to stop dance then?
But yes,
Oh, so I'm
That
sure
makes
that
sense.
put
it made and that was what I planned on going to school for, like after I graduated and
Oh,
everything.
really? Wow.
There's a couple schools like Orange Coast College and stuff like that where I'd applied to, and like was gonna do
in
performing
Cali?
arts.
Oh, wow. That.
So
Hey, everything happens
put
for
a
a
big old
reason.
damper on it, but
Hey, everything.
here.
Yeah,
Yep.
everything happens. So
Yeah, that makes sense to me because, like, around the time that I started dancing, that got me away from trouble.
Right.
Like, when I started dancing, I wasn't going outside as much, hanging out with people in the neighborhood.
Yep.
So that kept me out of a lot of trouble. I can't imagine like if I got hurt and I couldn't dance anymore.
oh,
Probably
it was the
would've.
worst too. It
I was
the
just-
worst.
But
a
at the
troublemaker.
same time, like, I feel like dance, like getting involved in that changed my perspective a lot on things. So like, had I got hurt, I probably would have just started something else. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I
it's
feel like your
important to do
mom
things
kept
that-
you in check though too. Your mom's very
Yeah,
strong
for the
woman.
most part. But when you have 2 parents that are working all day
Yeah.
to provide,
Yeah.
and you're walking home from school and you're by yourself for an extra 5 hours or
Right.
so.
You
What do
got
you
some
do
time
with
on
that
your
time?
You got some
Yeah.
time. That was me. I wasn't into sports. Wrong crowd. My mom was a single mom,
Yeah.
working. She went to college too. We barely saw my mom. Like we
Right.
ate ramen noodles and cereal for dinner. So
Oreos for dessert.
for real though. But no, so I was a little troublemaker. But so after high school, I honestly am really interested in knowing how you got into entrepreneurship with like It Works and
Yeah.
how that all started and why you started that.
Yeah,
Right.
explain that to us a little bit for the people that are listening.
Yeah.
Like, what you do exactly, and I want to learn a little bit more about this.
I'll tell you
because
all about it.
honestly, like when I first met you, I knew that you did like the roast with Kaizen, the roast of Cham. So I thought that you were like a comedian on the side.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
My life is a freaking comedy, but I am not. I'm the starring role in it, but
I feel like
not intentionally.
I honestly feel like you do have a little comedy in you, because like on your
I think so,
Facebook,
too.
the way you like post stuff and stuff, I'm like, it's so funny.
That's what made me
so
think.
maybe you are a little
I mean,
bit
I
natural.
do have some of me. It's just, at the right times and the right moments, I got you.
I can see you being a comedian.
I
though.
got you. Maybe that's my calling. I've been missing it this entire time. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe
But
the next roast needs to be the roast of Connor.
I mean, it would be great. There's
Yeah.
so much. There's so much.
There's so much.
Yeah. It'd be a great production.
So
That'd be
maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, do you maybe put comedy into your life if you're like going through a
Yes.
little rough time?
yes.
Or you just don't really want to deal with that, so you like
I
make
think
it...
it's a little bit of both. I think
Okay.
as I was younger, it was making it so I didn't have to freaking deal with it.
Yeah.
But now it's like I can either look at a situation and be super pissed and put myself into a dark place, or I can just laugh at it.
Laugh it off.
Absolutely.
Hey, that's a good gem right there.
For example, so I was actually engaged at once upon a time.
Oh,
Called my wedding off 2 years ago, about 2.5 years ago now. And my wedding dress has been sitting in my grandmother's car for 2 years.
2 years. Is it still sitting in there?
Nope. So the other
You're
day.
waiting for the special day.
Right.
Yep. So the other day, my mom brings it over to my house, and I'm just walking down the sidewalk with my dress, carrying it back to my house. Like, well, it's finally home.
Right.
Finally
Like,
home.
might just put it on because I live across the street from the
That's
Veterans
it.
Hospital.
Maybe
I was
you
like,
didn't-
might just wait for a doctor to come out. Got my dress on. I'm ready.
I'm ready. What are you
So
gonna do
maybe
with
you
it?
didn't want to deal with it.
I
and
didn't.
That was like
Yeah.
a coping thing.
Yeah,
but
like-
you finally got to the point where like, all right, let's go get this thing.
Right.
Were
You
you
know?
hurt a little bit, or you moved on? Or
Well, obviously, I think anybody would be
At the
hurt.
time.
at the time, but
yeah.
I'm talking about the other
At
day.
the
But
time.
At the time.
Yeah, at the time.
Okay.
But the other day, no, I just think but everyone keeps, they're like, what are you going to do with it? I mean, that's been the question for 2 years now. What are you
What
going
are you gonna do with it?
Why do you still have it? One, because it's like literally fit to my body, and not everybody has my body type.
Yep.
And two, it's really freaking pretty.
It's
really
And I still want it, but ultimately, I want to do something really special with it. I don't want to hold on to it, but I haven't been ready to let go of it yet, just because, like,
it's
Yeah.
you know,
it was a memory.
It was.
and-
It was.
Yeah.
It meant
Would
something.
you save it for somebody that deserve it?
No.
Or no?
No.
You'll get
No,
it
she's like, no.
because it
That's
was
not
for
going too far.
it was for
Yep.
that person.
Yep,
So
exactly. So
I
we're gonna
understand.
redo that whole
Whole
thing.
Yeah.
thing. Whole
But
thing.
no, I just want to do. I mean, I thought about selling it, but again, I don't know how easy that would be with this dress. But there's a lot of things that are really close to my heart that I want to eventually possibly somehow auction it off and then donate that money.
Oh,
That's a good idea.
I just want it to do something special with it because there's a lot of like memories that are tied to that dress.
Yeah.
To
Imagine all that
certain-
energy, like
Yeah.
literally energy on that dress.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So-
So I know we got a little off track.
No, that's fine. We just
But-
people being people.
People being. I think we
true.
say that in every people
We
being
have
people.
to.
Being people.
We
People
have
being
to.
people.
That's like a little reminder to ourselves, like, oh shit, I'm just being a person right now.
I'm just being.
That's what
Let's-
people love,
let's get on
though.
track.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
funny. Speaking of that, off track again. I notice with myself, for instance, like when I get really hyped and stuff, my words don't come together correctly.
mine
And I'm
don't
just
either.
like, I'm just so hyped. So like when we do our lives, last week when we did that live introducing these shorts, I was so hyped. And when you walked away, I looked back on it and I'm like, oh my God, people probably think I'm crazy. Because I'm just like, I love these so much. Oh my God. I was just like so fucking hyped. And I couldn't put my words together. And I was like, it's my unique self.
Yeah.
That is though,
It's my
and like
unique
you know what,
side.
people end up loving. Like you obviously just told me a little bit ago that you watched some of my lives before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to be so scared to go live on camera, and I'm like, you know what though, people love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
They
they
don't
do.
want to see perfectionism. They want to see what you are behind your perfect photos you post on Instagram.
And
Facebook.
that's
Exactly.
No, that's why I followed you, because when I started It Works,
Mm-hmm.
a girl from here recruited me, and I was living in Fargo. And so you must have been like one of the main girls here that actually made it with It Works. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, I'm like
Yeah.
you and Carrie, right?
Carrie, yes.
Yes. I used to watch you guys, and I liked you so much because you were just yourself. You
just-
weren't like trying to be all like this and that. You're just
No, I can't.
your
Like,
goofy
I just
self and-
can't make myself do that.
Yeah.
and you were very vulnerable about what you have learned in the past with alcohol, and you were so open. And
Yep.
at that time, I don't think people were really that open.
No.
No, like
No.
So-
It's crazy.
That went hand in hand. Like, you know, you used your platform, your business to build a personal brand. And I feel like that's why people connected with you so much, because it was less salesy and more
And that's what
you.
I figured out almost
Yeah.
immediately,
Yeah.
which was huge.
Did you teach that yourself, or did you have strong women behind you? How did you even start It Works? Please tell me.
Okay. This is what we were
Tell
going to start
me.
with. So let's go there. Okay. So a whole entrepreneur thing. So like I said, high school, I had planned on doing performing arts. I had no intentions of going anywhere else. Like, I was going to dance. That was
Yep.
it. I mean, went to a Laker girls training camp, everything.
Wow.
Even though my knee was still injured, but I was like, I'm still going. I'm not missing this opportunity.
Yeah.
But I literally had no direction after that because I hadn't looked at any other schools. Just wanted to be in California. Was really stubborn
That
about
was-
it.
yep, yep.
You know, but my whole entire family is entrepreneurs.
Oh,
So,
really?
yes.
So you
That's
have
awesome.
that in your brain
It's just
already.
kind of,
Yeah.
I watched it my whole life and
Yeah.
honestly didn't really realize that until I started with It Works, or like while I was making my decision to start with It Works.
Yeah.
And starting back with my grandpa, who he grew up in a small little town, was a farm boy, decided to start beauty schools.
Wait,
Wow.
is that Stewart?
Stewart.
So that's your family?
Stewart. I love it.
Stewart, stop! This is every time I see you now. Stewart.
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 I love it.
Wait, no. Let's say it. Let me. I just want
No.
to. Just
Stewart.
say
Stewart.
Okay.
Is that how you say it? Stewart.
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 Stewart. Oh
Stewart.
my.
It's okay.
Say, Connor, say bag.
No.
Do you say bag?
I might.
Yeah.
South Dakota. Say bag, babe.
Bag.
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 Yeah.
Bag, right? That how you bag.
Bag.
Or you say bag.
I say bag.
I feel like West Coast is bag.
Bag.
Yeah.
Like
Bag.
my family that lives out there, they and like all my friends from out there. Every time I go back, they're like, "Oh, there's our little South Dakotan accent." I'm like, I don't have an accent.
I don't. You guys do.
You do bag. No, it's bag.
Bag. So your grandpa started this.
So yeah,
Yeah.
my grandpa started beauty schools, which is Stewart's.
Okay.
We no longer own it, but our name is still on there.
Oh,
which
okay.
is really kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he had literally hair salons all across the entire country.
That's amazing.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and
Legacy.
straight, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my grandpa has literally been my biggest inspiration, and obviously then his stuff stemmed into my dad, and my dad had, I just found this out like a year ago, he had restaurants up in Minneapolis and stuff.
Wow.
No idea. I was like, you had what?
You have what?
Oh, okay. Sounds good. Learning a whole bunch of things in my 27 years of life. But yeah, so he actually ran one of the beauty schools that was up in Minneapolis. That's how him and my mom met. My mom, everyone's a hairstylist.
Okay.
Besides me. And I won't let them touch my hair.
Well, yeah, no, besides me.
So he had the beauty schools, restaurants. I mean, he had a printing company here in town while I was in, I think it was middle school. So there's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So then my brother, I was pregnant with Presley, or I like literally had just went out. I was pregnant with Presley back in like 2013 when my brother and one of our cousins decided to start a printing company.
Okay.
Not screen printing. It was like directly to the garment type of thing.
yeah,
If,
yeah,
like
yeah.
after it printed, if it like there was a mistake on it, they could literally wash it and the ink would come off.
Oh, that's
wow.
cool.
I literally can't remember the name of it.
don't
I'm not
know.
good with
Like,
technicality stuff.
It's
But
like, I think it's
neither.
DTG.
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Direct to garment.
Yeah.
Yep.
direct to
Okay.
garment, yeah.
But yeah, they can print. I mean, they make blankets. They make flash drives. They make guitar picks.
Do they still do it?
Yes, they still
Oh,
have
okay,
it. So
cool,
the cool thing is though, is they were the first people in South Dakota to have one of these printers.
Wow.
Yeah, really cool. They went from one printer to I believe 4 printers, and I believe like a year into it, they ended up selling everything, and now everything is outsourced.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's dope.
That's
dope.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
those printers aren't cheap. Like,
No.
They're really
one is
expensive,
like,
right?
what,
Yeah.
like 20,000 for one of them.
Yeah.
Holy
They're
crap.
So that-
spendy.
Yeah.
So for the people that are listening, that kind of gives you an idea of
Puts
like,
into
what
perspective.
scale they were able to, you know,
Yeah.
get to.
Yeah, and so I won't say their numbers because not exactly, but I remember their sales like that first Christmas. They were like, my grandpa was just like, you did what?
You did what?
Yeah, just blew numbers out of the water.
Wow, that's awesome.
So, and I, as the little sister, the little one of the bunch, I've always wanted to do my own business type of thing. Always wanted to do something. But my ADD is like, there's a rabbit, there's a peacock, there's a cat, there's my child.
Why
like,
is this?
Oh my gosh.
That's all of us.
Like,
That's probably why we're like bad at like
Yeah.
texting back
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff.
oh,
because,
absolutely. I'm like, I read it.
Yup.
Okay, I'll respond in a minute.
And then never happens.
2 days later.
Yup,
Yeah.
yeah.
2 weeks later.
Yeah.
That's
2 months later.
exactly-
Is it too late to respond to this? So,
That's me too.
yeah. And like, so I just didn't know what I wanted to do with that. And like I said, my ADD, I'm just like, I couldn't apply myself to something.
Yep.
Well, then I had Presley. This is like the short version of it, but
Okay.
we're going to get in there. So I had Presley, and well, first of all, I got kicked out of college. I did end up coming back from California. So I went to college at USF.
Okay.
I actually followed a boy back.
What you get kicked out of college for?
I didn't go to class. I partied.
Partied.
Yep.
So is that when your
That's
like whole kind of
college
drinking
life.
problem started in college?
It started before that.
Oh,
Started in high
really?
school.
In high school.
I see.
Yep.
Say, I'm like,
Yep.
yep,
Do you
partying.
think that was like a catalyst to the partying in college? Because usually I feel like for kids, like when they get away from home,
I think
they
so,
see
yeah.
the world and they're like,
Yeah.
wow, this is a bunch of fun.
Fun,
and it's fun for a while,
yes.
but when it hits you, it's like, damn, like this is real life. I'm an adult now.
Right.
You know what
Well,
I
and
mean?
like the family I grew up in, like I love my family. They're a great family. They, my mom. I'm far more scared of my mother than my father. Sorry, Dad.
Sorry, Dad.
But
I can relate.
they, you'd think, okay, my dad is also a pastor. Big surprise to everybody.
Oh, wow. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, he doesn't preach every Sunday, but he like steps in when churches need help,
Oh,
does
that's
funerals,
awesome.
weddings, all that stuff. And so, grew up with my dad as a pastor, my mom, like they were together. I was in dance, and my brother was in
Just a
soccer.
good family.
Just like a good family.
Yeah.
Kind of like your
Typical
typical
American
like
family.
American family. Like,
Yeah.
oh, she does no wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, I was a little freaking
Devil.
hell on wheels. I'm still hell on
Hell on
wheels. Like,
wheels.
let's be honest. You can take some things away, but you cannot take that out of me.
Yep, exactly.
And so now I lost where I was at, where we were going with that.
Talking about
just like kind
drink-
of where
What
I got
led up
what
to
led up to
entrepreneur-
that.
Yeah,
entrepreneurship.
And so okay, I'm gonna keep on with the entrepreneurship, and then we'll go to
Okay.
the drinking,
Okay,
and then
okay,
I'll
okay.
hit all over the place.
No, it's good.
So anyways, back to being pregnant with Presley. Presley was a huge surprise.
Okay.
One changer for the world. She's literally saved my life. Like I say she's my saving grace
Yes.
because I found out I was pregnant with her 9 months after I got out of rehab.
Oh.
And like they have this thing in rehab where you're like not supposed to have any relationships the first year you're out, stuff like that. Just focus on yourself.
Self. You're
I'm
like,
pregnant.
I'm pregnant.
So had her, and my whole pregnancy, the biggest thing I was worried about was like, how am I going to financially afford myself and my child? Because kicked out of school, didn't have any desire to go back to school because I didn't know what I wanted to do. My major at the time, like when I was in school, was criminal justice, which I still love, but having a child or like being pregnant kind of changed my perspective on that. I didn't want those two areas of life mixing.
Yes.
So didn't want to go back to school, but I wanted to live that big lavish lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I had no idea what I was going to do to get there. And so my first year, or the first year that Presley was around after I had her, I actually worked for my parents.
Oh, really?
We kind of made a plan, and they needed extra help around the office. And they actually have Apple Tree Children's Centers, which my grandma started. So there's another entrepreneur
Yep, yep.
way
so
back
cool.
in the day, and now they run them. And so they needed help with extra things around there. So they're like, well, you can bring Presley to work. Then she doesn't have to go into daycare because I definitely didn't have the funds for daycare and didn't have the help. And so she didn't go to daycare. She came to work with me every single day.
wow.
When I ran errands, she came with me.
Yep.
So,
That's dope.
but after a year of that, Presley turned 1. And I had actually been starting to watch Carrie already, which Carrie is actually who enrolled me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So Carrie and I met. My gum is disgusting. I need to swallow it.
You
People
if
being
you,
people.
If you gotta put it on the floor too,
Nope,
you
it's
know,
gone.
Yeah,
We're
you
good.
can literally put it on the floor.
then we can auction it off on eBay. Like, hey y'all,
Hey,
this is one of
Connor
Connor's
chewed
shoes.
this.
Go ahead
Bubble
and stick it under the table real quick.
Right?
Oh my god. It's gone now. I'll like start putting my chewed up gum in baggies. See what we can do. Times are rough right now.
Times are rough.
God.
So then, yeah, you met Carrie.
So I started watching Carrie. We met because Presley's dad used to play for the Storm, and he's actually now a coach for the Storm as also Storm football, so indoor football league.
Okay.
And Carrie's husband Tay played football for the Storm, and Blake and him were teammates.
Oh.
So that's how Carrie and I met. We met at a football game. And so I had watched her like that whole first year of Presley's life.
A year of just...
Yeah, a year of watching this thing and like, you don't make that
money. Yeah, shut up.
How do you do that? And then I saw like, so with It Works, the biggest thing at the time they were known for was these wraps that contour and tighten your skin. And I was like, bullcrap. Like, I'm thinking, like, my family comes from a whole entire line of cosmetology. I've never seen such a thing.
Yeah. You were just like...
I didn't want to believe it. I was like, no. And then, of course, you have, like, everyone's opinions in your ears, too. But still, that dollar sign, I was like...
I need it, you know?
I
want it.
And so I kept watching, and then finally... And I'd actually, like... I told her a couple times that I was going to join, and then was either talked out by, I remember specifically, first it was my family, and then the second time it was one of my best friends who actually now does the business with me.
Oh, wow, that is hilarious.
Yeah. So Presley turned 1, and I was like, I am literally so sick and tired of having to ask my parents to help me with diapers, formula, like groceries.
That's how
how old was I? Like 22 then?
Yeah.
By that time? Going on 22? I was like, this is just stupid. No, I don't like this. This is not how I want to live.
Yeah.
But again, I didn't want to go back to school, and I still that would not have gotten me to where I wanted to be anyways.
Exactly.
So then Presley turned 1, and 2 months later, I remember it was March 31st.
Oh, wow.
And we were sitting actually at Presley's dad's family's house in Iowa at the dinner table, and I think it was... Oh, yeah, it was right before Easter. And so I'm like sitting there and I'm like, I was probably shopping online or something, which I shouldn't have been doing. I was like, this is bullcrap. I can't even buy the things I want to buy.
Yeah.
And like, God, I love my family, but I cannot work with them for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
You know,
like you want to do your own.
I want to do my own thing. I don't want to have to depend or be like,
you want to feel independent.
Well, her parents do this for her.
Like, she's just getting handed it.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, say that.
That's how I am. Honestly, that's how
what it comes down to.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm sitting there at the table. I'm like, I'm not going to tell anybody. Literally asked my dad. I kind of told him what I was up to, but I was like, Dad, I need your credit card. I need $100.
Yeah.
Because like I didn't even have that extra $100, and that sucked.
Yeah.
I was like, and I didn't tell him anything else. I was like, just trust me. I need to do this. I don't want to hear your guys' opinions.
Just let me do it.
Just let me do it. Otherwise, I'm not going to find out.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I signed up. Told Kira I signed up. She's like, wait, you did what? I was like, I finally signed up.
I signed up.
And so,
surprise.
And it's funny because like an hour afterwards, I was like, oh my God, what did I just sign up for? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't
feel
know.
Stupid.
Yeah, I feel stupid.
Yeah,
I don't know any of these products. I'm not a health and wellness guru. Like, what am I doing? Okay, well, ignorance and excitement and put a freaking flame under that. You're golden. You can learn on the freaking way. And that, I mean, I'm still learning about the business and every area of it. And so that first that first week or so, I was just like, oh God, I can't do this. I can't
do it.
And people were like, what are you doing? I'm like, just let me do it.
Shut up.
Just shut up. And like, for me, like hearing those negative opinions and comments just set a fire under my ass even more so. And I was like, you know what?
I'm going to prove
you. Can't tell me I can't do it. Watch me do it.
Yeah. Watch me.
So that first month,
Did you work your ass off?
Oh, I busted my ass. Didn't know what I was doing, but I was so excited.
See, that's one. Okay, so one thing that I don't necessarily like about what is MMLs? What are
MLMs, multi-level marketing.
A lot of people are like, "Oh, you're gonna be rich in the first week or two." Just selling this fantasy. And honestly, that's why I started, because I was a single mom in Fargo, struggling my ass off. My mom was helping me pay half of my rent, and I wanted to further my life too. And so that's why I started It Works. And obviously, I didn't go anywhere with that. And that's okay.
Yeah, it's
and
literally.
but that's one of the things that I didn't like from people. From people like, you're gonna get rich and stuff. But I like that about you, because you told your story on the lives, like, no, I actually worked my ass off. I didn't hang out with my friends. I actually was on my phone.
I literally put blinders on my face that you couldn't actually see, and was like, if I want this, I need to work it. I need to I need to sacrifice certain things right now so that I can get to where I want to be.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
when I get to that point where I want to be, which I'm not there yet still, I've been a little distracted the last couple years. I've had a lot of life happen, but I'm still pushing there. And I'm like, I just keep reminding myself because, so when I started the business, I mean, I busted my butt, like busted.
Yeah.
And so that first month I hit like one of the first ranks, which literally
Really?
like 2 weeks in I was like, Carrie, I don't think I can. And she'll quit saying that. I'm like, no, I really don't think I can do this. And like almost gave up for a good couple hours. And I was like, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And then like, so I hit like this first rank and this bonus. And I mean, literally when I started, I was like, an extra $50, if that's what I make, that's what I make. That's
Yeah.
an extra $50 I didn't have.
Yep.
Shoot, to me, I'm like, a quarter's on the ground. Got the quarter I didn't have before. So it's going in my jar.
Yeah.
It's gonna add up. And so like, that's my mentality. Like people, you know, they see a small check and they're like, I only got this much. I'm like, did you apply yourself? Did you work? And hey, did you have that money? Would have you had that money before?
What could you do? Or,
Exactly.
Exactly.
And so yeah, I mean, that first check, I think it was like $1,000. I was like,
In a month?
That probably felt so good.
oh, it felt so good.
Yeah.
It felt amazing. I was like, that's the most I've ever seen
Yeah.
in a
That-
check. Like,
wow.
See, my perspective on when it comes to MLMs is different because I grew up around a family that is truthful when it comes to the business.
Mm-hmm.
Like my aunt and uncle, they run a life insurance agency
Okay.
through Primerica.
Oh, yeah.
And I witnessed them like grinding
Right.
ever since I was like 11 years
Mm-hmm.
old. And just recently they reached 10 diamonds, I believe. So
They reached their million.
$1 million in annual
awesome.
salary. Yeah. So I saw them get their cars
Yeah.
repossessed. I saw them borrowing money from my grandmother. You know what I mean? And it was never a sense of like, just do this for a couple months and then boom,
Yeah.
you're going to be chilling on the beach.
right. And that's what people
it wasn't
think
like
when they
that.
go into it. And that's why they
Yeah.
that's why like people are like, oh, it's a pyramid scheme.
And
Yeah.
it's
Because
not.
this person that enrolled me is still grinding and doing what they want with their
Yeah.
life, but here I am.
Yeah.
But this person up here is still working. They're still pushing.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that
it's-
person up there those are the people that become successful with it because they understand that everything takes work.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to seem like I wasn't like dogging on
Oh,
M-
no, not
I
at
just
all.
was saying,
No,
like,
but
a lot
it's
of
good to educate people
Yeah.
because
But-
a majority of people don't know what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, and
you
Connor,
do
I
have
believe
to work.
she's aware of that too. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people treat it that way, but I feel like the people that are truthful and open about it
Right.
are the ones that are
That will actually
successful with
succeed.
it.
Yes,
and be
yes. And I mean, at
successful.
one point, I was one of those people too. I was like, oh, like, I'm not going to make it in my room.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Yep.
I mean, I was that person too, but then I educated myself. And especially, like, I educated myself after I started.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I knew nothing going into this. Didn't know we had more than one product. There's a whole 60 plus products.
Yeah.
So I mean, literally knew nothing. Hadn't even
That's
tried a product.
so dope.
And it was actually after I got my first check that I was like, I better try a wrap, make sure these things work.
Wait, make sure
And
these
I like
work.
put it on, I'm like, oh, good Lord Jesus, this isn't gonna work. What am I gonna do? And then it worked, and like it does, and it's just
Yeah, it's so
That's
you have to
cool.
just educate yourself.
You know,
and-
one thing I learned when I used to sell vehicles is a lot of the top salespeople, like the old heads, they will say, the less you know, the better.
It
It's
really
funny
honestly
because,
is.
Because people, just like we were talking about earlier, when you're not shoving stuff down people's
Yeah.
throat or when they feel like you aren't trying to take something from them, when you're just being a person,
Yeah.
it works out in your favor that way, you know? So maybe that worked in your favor,
Well, and I think
just
it's
not
just
knowing much
yeah,
about
just
it.
like another one of those things where people could relate. Like,
Exactly.
I can't answer that for you,
I can't, but
but you can't either. So
Right.
And-
let's figure this out
do
together.
you take ibuprofen? Yeah. Okay. Well, do you know the scientific facts behind it?
No.
Well, neither do I, but it works.
but it
Right.
works. Exactly.
It works. I
Right.
take those like 3 at a time, so I know.
I know.
So
Yeah.
is it like all natural products?
Yeah, they're
or-
all natural plant-based products.
Okay.
So there's a few of them that are all like completely vegan, non-GMO, that type of stuff.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so is it like strictly e-commerce or like you have a website where people can purchase?
So I have a website that people can purchase and like look at and stuff. Usually I prefer to not even give them my website till after they make a purchase or anything.
Oh, really?
Because I like to keep that connection going and like to be the one
Yeah.
educating them.
Oh, I like that a lot. Yeah.
awesome.
So they can actually like talk to me and be like, okay, I'm not just buying something from this person, but okay, she kind of knows what she's talking about.
She
so-
kind of knows.
Yeah.
Is how is It Works doing now? It was like one of the biggest MLMs, right?
And
MLM,
Yep.
yeah.
And it still is up there.
Really?
They actually, I can't give you exact. See, again, I can't give you exact.
It's totally fine.
But no, they're still doing incredible. We still have new products coming out. We just got recognized. I can't remember the company, but like one of the MLM business companies, they just got recognized again.
Wow.
And people are like, well, there's like at one point people are like, oh, there's so many people here. Well, do you know every person in Sioux Falls?
No.
Do you know every person your cousin knows on the West Coast?
No.
Do you have social media though?
Yes.
And like health and wellness is always going to be a thing.
Oh yeah.
It's never not going to be a thing.
It's getting bigger and bigger.
It's bigger and bigger. And what I've noticed with like, now that I've been doing this for about, I think like 5 years now, it goes in waves in the areas. Like sometimes I have a lot of girls that are distributors under me that are here locally. Sometimes I have zero.
And it just
And it
is.
just goes.
Yeah.
Do you get what is that income called when you just get it automatically?
Residual
Do you get
income?
residual? Really?
Yep,
So
and
you
let me
still
tell you
do?
that. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
I wonder that. Like,
Yes.
if you don't sell every month, like, do you
So,
actually still get that, or
here's
is it
one
just
of
goes
like
away?
the most amazing things that literally I can speak on because I've watched it and I've had life happen. When I called my wedding off 2 years ago, I was also at one of the like biggest parts, like one of the most important times of my business. I'm
Pivotal moment.
Yeah, there's 8 ranks. They have ranks in the business or like the company.
Oh, okay.
So I'm at the second highest one.
Oh, wow.
I was working on the highest, and I was on one. And then I had all this life happen. I called my wedding off. I found out a whole
lot of shit.
And I just was like, at that point in my life, I was just done with everything. I didn't want to talk to people. I clearly was not happy. I had so much going on. I mean, I didn't want to do anything anymore. I was done. And you know, I kept telling I kind of put on a front for a while. Like 3 months after, I'd be like, no, I'm good. And they're like, are you sure? I'm like, you know what? I'm not actually.
Yeah.
And like those types of things, like I felt kind of like I was expected to get over it in a certain period of time. But then like somebody actually said to me one time, they're like, Connor, you don't have you still have healing to do. Think of everything that you went through the past 6 years and the things that you were already working on with healing before all of this, before you even had knew Presley was along the way. And so it's like healing is a process.
Years.
And that process could probably take the rest of my life.
Yeah, exactly.
And so when that happened, I was like, oh my God, my business, like
it's going to crush.
It's going to crumble.
Yeah.
It hasn't.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So,
I mean, I haven't had to go get another job.
But you worked so hard for it the years previously.
When I started, I busted my ass those first 6 months. In 6 months, I saw my first 5-figure check.
Woo! 6 months, girl? Only 6 months. So
that's dope.
It does happen.
Yeah.
It does.
I'll be completely honest. Can that check fluctuate? Absolutely. Because
like
and that's another reason why it's not a pyramid scheme. If I'm not putting in my work, yes, my girls are busting their tails too, but if I'm not personally putting in my work just like my girls are, then I'm not going to see the reflection of it as much. And so, I mean, I've seen my checks drop like $8,000 in a month.
Yeah.
But I also remember, you know, like when I see a check that's like, let's say like $5,000, I'm like, that is still more than most people will ever see in their lifetime.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's kind of like a humbling thing.
Yeah.
And it's crappy as it was at one point. And I felt like a selfish freaking entitled brat after this because I freaking cried 1 month and threw a little fit. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, where was I before this?
Yeah, exactly. You have to remind yourself.
I was living paycheck to paycheck. I'd put a couple dollars here and there into my gas tank. Like, you be grateful.
You be grateful.
And as crappy it was to see those checks fluctuate like they did, it was also a huge learning time for me because I went into all this money unexpectedly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I spent it foolishly. My one big purchase was my Tahoe at the time that was fully loaded and everything. Which huge regret. That's a whole other story.
Huge regret.
I loved it, but the process of that was but it was like I didn't spend it or I just didn't like save it properly. I should have.
Yeah.
You know, and so now I feel like the next time I come into a lot of money because that's going to happen again. I'm going to be smarter about it.
Invest
And
maybe
so,
into something or...
Money lessons are never fun. I will be the first to admit that. Oh my God. I have a love-hate relationship with money, as we all do.
Yep.
But I think it was like a huge learning thing for me and something that is going to help me when it comes to teaching others about it. Because you never know when life's gonna hit you.
Exactly, and you have
that's
to
vital.
understand too,
Yeah.
like you were only in your 20s too.
You're
still in your 20s.
I was what? It would have been 22, 23 when I saw a 5-figure
Of course,
check.
you're gonna be like,
Yeah.
yes, let's
Yeah.
go on a shopping.
Other people my age at
Yeah.
that time were literally graduating from college. So
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's vital. You mentioned something that's very vital because we don't talk about much. I feel like in society we don't talk about that much, like the relationship with money. And how it's healthy to have a relationship with money, just like we have relationships with everything else. Because if we don't nurture it, if we don't love it, you know, if we don't treat it the right way, how can it come into our life? You know what I mean? So I think we need to have a better relationship with it, you know, and keep it in its right place. You know what I mean? Like,
money is energy. I'm actually learning all about money right now. I'm reading books on it because I really want to change the perspective that I have with money, because growing up, we were poor.
Yeah.
My mom was really poor. And so the perspective was really different. Like, oh,
money don't grow on trees.
Yeah, money's hard to get. And and that's money blocks. I do have money blocks, and I'm trying to like,
the things that were taught
I want to be free
growing up.
I want to be free.
And that's kind of like with my parents. I mean, they come from completely different backgrounds. My dad's side comes from a very well-off side, where my mom's side, she grew up in trailer park.
Oh,
so
wow.
that's been really cool and helped me like,
understand both.
My mom did this, my dad did this, but my mom did this, you know, that type of thing. And not like putting down either one of them, but seeing it and how you can change. I mean, my grandpa, before he started, I mean, they came from a not so well-off family, but he did everything and he built that empire and he left that legacy behind for us. So it's kind of like,
cool.
Okay.
Is he still alive?
No.
Oh, okay. So was that the grandpa you were talking about?
That was my grandpa that passed away.
Did he give you a lot of good advice and stuff?
I'm like kick myself for not spending far more time with him than I did, just because my brother did a lot more with him than I did, probably just age-wise. You know, I was on a whole different area of my life when he was still around at that, or like at one point. And so, but he like at his funeral, and the night before his funeral, I remember so many, I mean, there were people lined up blocks. We was at the Miller Funeral Home downtown, and blocks to just come through and
he was a
pay
leader
respect to my grandpa.
Yeah.
He was a leader.
And even up until like, this is so cool, up until like 4 months ago, it was about 4 months ago. My mom ordered a cake. It was one of my nephew's birthdays. Ordered a cake from this lady through Hy-Vee. Went in to pay for it. And obviously, like, her last name, Stewart, was on there. And she's like, can I ask you a question? She's like, are you part of, like, the Stewart family?
Aww.
And she's like, well, yeah, like, Gordon was my father-in-law. And the lady just started bawling.
Wow.
And she was like,
oh, I have chills.
it was amazing. And I can't remember where she was serving at the time, but my grandpa had left a tip, like, found out she was a single mom type of thing, left her a tip. And she goes, your father-in-law left a tip while I was serving him one night, and it was what paid for my utilities and kept my lights on that month.
Oh my God, I literally have the chills right now.
Yeah.
See, that's the
and like it
impact.
put my mom in tears. And so like there's just so many things that he did that we're still learning, because he didn't do them to show them off.
No.
There's like
Just
our
from his
entire
heart.
just things out of his heart. Like he was a great guy.
Great leader, or great. That's awesome.
That's a
That's a good
legacy
story.
we should leave behind for people. Like,
Yeah.
good deeds.
Good
I feel
deeds.
like that's our human obligation to help each other, because we're all in here in this game of life together. We all experience our own traumas and go through things. And
you never know when you're going to go through a trauma that someone else has gone through.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
I've been through a really big trauma, which I'm not ready to talk about yet, but
And that's fine.
that's fine. I'll
fine.
figure it out
Yep.
sooner or later. And that's what I want to do. I really want to inspire people that no matter what you go through, you can overcome it and you can be a better version of yourself,
Yeah,
no matter what.
fully believe that's exactly why I've been so open with everything that I've gone through, because it just, I don't know, it helps me heal for one, for me. And like I said, you never know when you're going to go through a trauma that someone else has gone through, and if that person shared their story, it's helped me. Well, what happens if I share mine?
Exactly.
Right.
You can help others and just be open and vulnerable. And
Yes.
Heck
And
yeah.
I feel like we need to be good listeners too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm learning all about it.
Because-
Right. I know, me too. Like, what'd you say?
Especially right now in the world.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
everybody
I know.
has something to say, but no one wants to listen.
Yep.
You know, no one
Everyone
wants
wants
to
the mic,
be... Right.
but no one wants to sit out in the audience.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that's what creates a lot of issues in the world, because everybody's trying to say something like, no, this, and
Right.
no, this is that, and this is why. But I feel like if we sit down and listen and try to understand a person, that's where we can solve issues. Because for one, there's only one you, so your paradigm is going to be different than the next person's paradigm because they don't see life the same way.
No, right.
So if we try to understand where they're coming from and, you know, meet them where they are, try to wear their shoes for a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe that can be a lesson for us. You know?
Exactly.
Maybe we necessarily can't help that person, but it might help us, because I think that's another issue. Like, we think we can solve every problem
Right.
too. We think what we're saying
is the right way and the
it's
only
set in
way.
Oh,
stone.
have I learned that my way is not the right way.
Not the right way.
Not at
Yeah.
all.
I think
We gotta be
just
good
being
listeners.
open-minded.
Yeah.
Just being open-minded and
Well, and
loving
honestly,
everybody.
I feel like something we all need to learn, and like whether whoever's listening to this or you guys, whether you believe in God or not, like something for me, you know, my dad was a pastor, fell away from it for a long time. I mean, especially when I was sexually assaulted, I was like,
Yeah.
God, why would you let this happen to me?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm just mad at him.
Yeah.
And then like with my relationship, there was lots of differences there that led me astray. And
Yep.
once I called my wedding off, I got back into church, and I'm like,
Wow.
it doesn't go my way. God runs this show.
Exactly.
And we need to sit back and control the things that we can, but realize that we're not in control of the outcomes. We're not in control of everything. And whether it is the most horrific time of your life, like, there's a reason for it.
There's
as
a
cliche
reason.
as that sounds, like, I have learned that, okay, I'm going to sit back.
And just
I'm going to remind
God,
myself
take the
I'm
wheel.
not in control. Might go hammer a wall or something, but we're not in control of it.
No, we're not.
And so we can all have our opinions, and we can all say, you know, think that this way's the right way and that way's the right way and X, Y, Z. But
And I think when you realize that you
Yeah.
aren't in control of everything, your vibrations become higher.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
just
Yes.
are free.
Can
you
go with the
are. You're
flow.
free. You don't feel like you're stuck to
Yeah.
this path or this path or literally, like, people are like, you don't plan things. I'm like, no. I
No, I
if
just-
I go this way, I go this way. If I get up there, I'm going to go this way. I don't know.
No, you don't know. Just go
Yeah.
with the flow.
Go with the flow of
Go
it.
with the flow.
That's beautiful.
So
like, that's life
Oh,
right
I have
there.
a question.
Yeah,
I
go
have a
ahead.
question. So speaking of, you know, when you were younger, you were surrounding yourself with not the so right people. Do you still talk to those same people, or do you surround yourself? Have you learned to surround yourself with different people?
So I've
or-
really learned that I need to surround myself with the people that I want to be like, or
Yes.
like who have the same goals and the
Mindset.
same mindsets and aren't going to feed toxicity into
Yeah.
my. It's not even a word.
Toxic.
Toxicity.
I can't even.
That's a word.
That's my word. We're gonna have a dictionary by
Just me.
Connor.
Just me.
I'm like, it sounds
when
smart.
When I first met you, that's one of the first things I thought. I'm like, when I got home,
He was
and
like,
I
"She's just
talked
like
to
you."
Melissa
I'm like-
about the day. I'm like, you two are like just like
You're
each
the
other.
same.
You're the
You're the
same.
same. You're different, but the same. That's great. But yeah, just like, I can't be around toxic.
Yeah.
And when you start to learn about your mindset and what you put into your brain and your, you know, what you read and what you're watching, like, it really opens your eyes up. And so,
Yep.
I mean, I am definitely not, I've never have been a very cliquey person. I don't judge. Like, you gotta freaking learn your own way. You're a big girl, you're a big boy. Learn
Yes.
on your own. If you think what you're doing is right, do it. Let me know what you learn from it.
Exactly.
That type of thing. And so, I mean, like, especially when I went into rehab, I cut, you know, they say new playground, new playmates. And it's
Oh,
true.
okay.
I mean,
Okay.
I think if I went back to my same
Oh,
group
you
of
would
friends,
be-
there's no way I would have made it.
No.
I mean, absolutely
Was it
zero
hard
way.
for you to cut them off?
Yes and no. I learned that those people weren't really my friends.
Friends. Yep.
And especially when I got pregnant, I was like,
Do I really want
don't
that
want those people around,
around
my
my daughter?
And I mean, obviously, it also opened up my eyes to my family. And I mean, my mom is my best freaking friend in the world now. And before that,
You're like, I
absolutely
hate
not.
her.
I mean, I literally punched her while she was hauling me out to rehab and jumped out of her car.
Yeah.
So there's like,
Yeah.
you just opened up a whole lot
Whole-
for me.
Yeah.
And so when I see them, hi.
Hi.
You know, like-
you're not going to be like,
Yeah, exactly.
like,
but
"Hi," you know.
definitely,
Hope you're doing
my
good.
circle is really, really,
Really, really small. Yeah.
And
You're okay with that.
I'm fine with that.
You're fine.
And I've
We're-
learned it's about quantity, not quality.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So with alcoholism, I know you mentioned you kind of got into that at a young age.
Yeah.
What did you think that stemmed from?
You know, I really don't. Okay, so it kind of goes back to how I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely my mom was the more strict one, and I was never allowed to have sleepovers, which at the time I hated her for it.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, Presley, you're not having sleepovers, because
No,
I get it. It's freaking scary. It's a scary world.
That's what we're going to do with our children. We've talked about that. And I think we'll have sleepovers at our house only, but not other places.
Right.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to happen at all. And I'm like, you can stay as late as you want.
Yeah.
Because that's what my mom did for me. But I'll be coming to pick you up.
I'll be coming
So
to
don't
pick
even
you-
ask.
Don't
And I mean,
even-
we've already had to learn that lesson. And she's sick. So I'm like, oh, good Lord Jesus.
Oh, God.
But I think it was kind of like a rebellious thing, you know? But then the other thing is, on my mom's side of the family, there's a whole line of alcoholism. So, you know, I think from me dabbing my toes in the water led to something that I knew nothing about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And so didn't know what I was getting into. Well, then my addictive personality was like, oh,
Yeah.
she's hooked.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you know, going through high school, I was super busy up until my senior year. And then all of a sudden I had all this free time. And what am I supposed to do with it? And still my group of friends was like, party, no control. And went into that. And then, of course, when I graduated and got out, I was like, no rules.
I'm going to go ham.
Like, literally, my grandparents bought me a ticket out to California to stay with them for a week.
You were
I didn't
living
come
it
back
up.
until 4 to 5 months later.
Wow.
You were living it up.
So that was definitely would have been when the brink of it really went in, but definitely started dabbling with it around like my freshman year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I think that's where self-awareness comes into play, because one thing about these personality traits, they can be passed down through DNA.
Yeah.
Like, we can pick up things from our family, and I feel like it's generational. It
Yeah,
is generational.
definitely. Yeah.
I have
And
a lot of alcoholism in my
Yeah.
family and addictive. I'm addictive.
I do
person.
too.
Yeah.
I do too, and I think that's why I saw it growing up. So I think that's why I think I learned from seeing
And that's
it.
what my mom says too, because she,
Yeah.
like her father and stuff, my grandpa, big alcoholic. And I was like, wow, but you didn't go into it. But she was so self-aware.
Yeah.
I mean, she knows she has an addictive personality too. Like when she goes into the hospital and stuff for certain things, she will literally ask them not to give her like hydrocodone or anything sent home, because she knows she gets addicted to it.
Yep.
And so she was so self-aware and saw it all before her eyes.
Yeah.
But then, like, for me, my father's never taken a sip of alcohol besides when he was freaking, what is it, bladder or what is it? Kidney stones?
Kidney stones?
Some type of
Yeah.
stones he had to pass. And
kidney
someone was like,
stones,
you
yeah.
need to drink this wine. And I was like, my father's drinking alcohol. Pigs flying. But so, like, me growing up, never saw my mom or dad take a sip of alcohol in front of me, ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have that self-awareness type of thing.
Like,
So I didn't realize that
So
there
you
was
wanted
a
to play
problem.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was told I couldn't have it, so I wanted it.
Exactly. The
especially
rebel.
when peer pressure is big too.
Yeah,
because,
it
like,
is.
If you're hanging out, even to this day,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
peer pressure is real. I'm
Absolutely.
27 years old. When we
And
go
it's
out
still
with
there.
friends,
Yes.
friends are like, here, take a shot, take a shot, take a
He
shot.
doesn't want
and then
to.
it's just so, like, I don't want to. I'll tell them, like, no, but
And
then
then-
they'll keep pushing you. And then it's like, all right, I'll just take one.
Right.
And then I'm done.
Exactly.
So peer pressure is a real thing. You know what I
Definitely.
mean? I feel like it'll always be
And
there,
whether
no
it's
matter
like
how old you
really
are.
like forceful peer pressure or just like playing around, like
Playful.
I'll be honest, sometimes I'm the bad influence. I'm like,
Influence.
take one for me. Right, take one. Like, you're right, take one, take another one.
Do one of these, throw it over your shoulder.
Yeah.
For
spit it
real.
out.
For
Spit it
real.
out real quick.
No, I think, yeah. What were we even talking about?
Peer pressure and
Peer
you know,
pressure and self-awareness.
yeah.
Yes, I think it's really important to be self-aware of you and your actions and how you handle things.
your family history.
Yeah. So when your mom took you to rehab, how long were you
Yeah.
in there for?
I was in there for 30 days.
Oh,
There
wow.
was no TV, no books, no visitors, no cell phone.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't even have my hairspray. They had to like lock it up because people will drink hairspray because of the alcohol in it.
Wow.
Yeah, so if I needed hairspray for whatever reason while I was there, I'd have to like go ask for it and then bring it back. I could have visitors on the weekend, but only like family. So my family would come out and see me. Actually, no, I think it was family and friends. But I learned that first weekend that who my true friends are.
Yeah.
All those people I thought were my friends,
They disappeared.
One came to visit.
Oh,
Yep.
so
So
you
I
were
mean,
like,
it was kind of
open.
crappy. And
But
there's a
then-
lot of things I was dealing with at that time that even made it crappier. But I was like, you know what? That's good for
good.
me to
Yeah,
know.
yeah, that's good.
You know,
That's
I know
really-
who truly has my best interests.
Yep.
Right.
In front of them
Yeah.
and for me.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm really
but-
glad that.
it was like, I don't know. It was one of those things where I was pissed that I was being hauled into rehab. I mean, I was only 19 when I went in.
Oh, okay, so young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So end of this month, I'll be 8 years clean and sober.
Oh, wow. So no sip of alcohol you've
That's
had.
amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
amazing.
It's
Wow.
crazy. And people are like, well, you were so young when you went in. Like, don't you think you'd be fine now? And it's like,
I don't know. And
I
I don't
just don't need
honestly.
it.
no. And I mean, of course, like, especially the first year of my sobriety, I was like, it'd be really nice to have a beer right now. It's super hot outside.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know, like, my drinking and my using at that time of my life when I was still drinking and using, it was not your normal, like, college type. I'm going to go out on the weekends, get shit faced. It was every day.
Oh, really? Would you wake up and want to drink?
Oh, yeah. I'd be like, what are we doing today?
Oh,
And I mean, there was 2 separate occasions. One of them was here in Sioux Falls that I ended up in the ER. My mom actually found me. I can't remember if I pocket dialed or if one of the girls that was with me finally was like, we need to call our mom or something.
Yeah.
But I was a sophomore in college and woke up in the ER, and the doctor, I mean, he told her straight to her face. She was like, I don't know how she's alive. I mean, when she
I
found
just
me,
got the chills again.
when she found me, I mean, I was upside down on a staircase,
Wow.
vomiting,
Yeah.
eyes rolled back, skin turning blue,
Oh.
just not good.
Wow.
And I mean, I should have been sent to the drunk tank, but the doctor's like, absolutely not. Like, she needs to stay here.
Here. And
So,
we need to watch her.
And I was like, okay, I learned my lesson. A week later, I was like, let's go party.
Let's go party.
And so when I was
Yeah.
in that stage of my life, it wasn't your typical, oh, she's in college, she's young, she's having fun. So I look back at that and I'm like, yeah, it'd be fun. Like, I feel like there's all these new fun IPAs, like cute packaging. I'm
Yeah.
a sucker for cute packaging.
Right,
I'm like, man, they had nothing cute like this when I was drinking. Oh, so I'm like, I'm going to buy it for my friends, but not for me. But I'm like,
Yeah.
it's just not worth it to me. And I don't wake up with a hangover.
See, that's one thing. I'm not a big drinker
Right.
either. I probably drink like once or twice a month, and that's the thing, because when I drink, I don't know when to stop. I'm like,
Exactly. And
you
that's
know
how I
this.
was.
Yeah.
I'm just,
Yeah.
and I get shit faced, and the next day I'm like, oh, this is not worth
Yeah,
it.
no, and I mean,
Yeah.
I blacked out all the time. I mean, there's probably a good year of my life that I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
So, and that, like, once I realized that, I was like, wow, that's actually really scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
it
that's
is.
how heavily I was using.
Using.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm just like, no, it's not worth it to me.
So-
and you know what? I have so much more. I go out every now and then.
I was just gonna ask that.
I still
'cause
go
I see.
for once I had Presley, I never went out. So it wasn't up until about probably a year and a half ago or so that when her dad and he started getting like overnight visitations, I was like, well, sure, I'll go out and have some fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I do go out every now and then. I love to dance. I
love
love to
to
have a good
dance too,
time.
yes.
I love, so, and people are like, it doesn't bother you. I'm like,
I was just gonna ask that.
no, because I get to watch you guys be idiots, and it's not me.
It's not
and
me.
it doesn't bother me. I had my fun.
Yeah.
I didn't have your typical 21st birthday, but I was like, trust me, I got it out of the way. I was
Yeah.
in the bars far before you were, and Yeah.
Wow.
What do you think a safer option is for people that are like in that party phase?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know CBD is a good option. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's all natural. Honestly, I feel like recently I feel like CBD might be a good option for me because I've been Facebook been making me want to slap up a couple people.
right? I know, and it like,
Just reach through the screen
Yeah.
and slap a couple people real
oh
quick.
yeah, I feel ya.
I don't.
Yeah. No, and I asked that because I feel like we need to talk about like because I know someone that is listening to this can probably relate, and pretty much what I'm asking for you is like, what value can we leave with someone that is listening to this, that maybe a safer option or something that they can
Right.
do to like step outside of that realm.
Right. Well, and I think like another thing to also put on with that is there's such a stigma about addiction and the age that someone goes into rehab, and like that's like I just said, people are like, well, you were so young when you went in. And I'm like, yeah, and I thank God every day that I was that young when I went in, because my mom was able to see that I already had a problem. And I remember her if anything I remembered that day going in, because I was still drunk that morning, I refused to watch my daughter die another day.
Yeah.
Because she was living with the fear of, when am I going to get the call that my daughter's dead?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how out of control I was.
Wow.
And so she's like, I'm stopping this at a young age. Nobody was in support of it. She didn't tell anybody that she was going to pick me up that morning and go. She just was like, nope, this is the day. And she came up to my apartment and she's like, you're coming with me. If you don't come with me, the cops. I literally was like, what are you doing here? I am about to leave to go work an event. What are you doing? No, you're coming with me. I said, no, I'm not. She goes, okay, then the cops will come.
We like, oh shit.
And I was like, what in the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And then I got in the car and I realized what she was doing and I went batshit crazy.
Yeah.
But like, and that's another reason why I'm so open with my story in recovery, because I mean, people don't usually go into rehab until they're late in their 40s and 50s. Well, look at where all those years of your life just went. You can't get those back. And so it's like, yeah, you're young, but if you have a problem with alcohol or addiction,
you have a problem.
You have a problem. There's no other way around it. It's black and white. There's no gray area.
Address it head on.
Yeah, addressing it head on and realizing that, you can be 19 years old and already have an issue.
It's true, though, because a lot of people are always like, well, like, for example, like you said, like, I'm only 20. I'm just having fun. But no, you are drinking every single day. You're getting a bottle every single day.
And that's how I was.
See, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So then I have how would you give advice for someone that's going through that right now? Do you think they just need to wake up one day and
I mean, honestly, that change of deciding that you have a problem, it comes with a lot of like being honest with yourself and being like, okay, I do have an issue, but also giving yourself grace. Like, recovery isn't easy. You're gonna have days where you want a fucking beer. And I mean, I started smoking cigarettes while I was drinking because that's just natural. It comes to everybody when they're drinking, you know. But then, like, while I was in rehab, I was like, well, shit, what do I do now? And obviously I smoked while I was in rehab. And I'll be honest, every now and then I still have a cigarette. And you know what, I'm a freaking human. I'm not perfect. And I know they're bad for you, but sometimes I need one. And I don't get to have a beer, and I don't get to take that line of Coke. And
exactly.
Give yourself grace too, and you know, be honest with the people around you.
And I think also like you said,
your surroundings.
You surround yourself with people that actually care about you and not just want to be around you to let's go party.
Well, and that's like, I have a really good friend, and like. I want to shake them sometimes. I literally just feel like, what the hell is wrong with you? And they like to use the word luck. I have bad luck. I'm like, no, you don't have luck. I said, honestly, I don't really believe in luck. I'm like, where were you at that time when this happened? Did you choose to put that person's crap in your pocket? Could you have let them hold on to it? You didn't have to hold that to them.
You chose to
do
that.
When those people confronted you about something, could you have just walked away? Or did you really have to, you know, boost your ego a little and try to talk them down?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And then have the cops come. You know,
I think a lot of people, though, like what you were saying, when they're put in that situation, they want to be cool. It's their, like you said,
they're worried about what others are going to say about them.
It's their ego. It's whatever. We're almost done anyway. It was like, it's their ego, it's their pride. Like, oh, I don't want to be. It's like that high school mentality almost. Like, I want to be cool. And it's like, no.
Cool isn't cool anymore.
No, learning is cool.
Learning is
Knowledge
way cooler.
Is cool.
Being aware and being able to
fully love
put
yourself.
Those stigmas to rest.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I feel like we had a lot of. This is distracting.
That's okay. We can take a second.
We're
Sorry,
parents. The kiddos are coming.
I understand.
I understand. So, yeah, I don't know. Thank you so much for being on here with us.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad I love being able to like share. I don't always get these opportunities all the time, and so like when I do get to, I like to. Use them.
And I have another question.
Yeah.
I know you messaged me. I was like, how did you find out about us? I'm like, how did you find out about us? Or were you just looking on Instagram?
You know, I was probably going through Instagram. That's usually how I find a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I built my business too.
Yep.
I mean, that's how I've made a lot of connections too. Like just being honest with people about my addiction and my recovery and my sexual assault
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just all that stuff, and
Yeah.
like being a mom and being freaking honest about it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't feed my kid vegan or organic food. They get organic McNuggets sometimes.
They get
Right.
My organic McChicken. My plant-based
Do you guys eat healthy or?
We try, but let's be honest. I am so balanced. If I want to have my
Yeah.
ice cream cone, I'm going to have an ice cream cone. If I want to have 3, I'm going to have 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll eat a salad tonight, but
Yeah.
maybe I won't.
That's
Like,
literally.
I just don't believe in restrictful diets. Like, I feel like when you do that, you're just setting yourself up for failure because
Not only that, like a mentality of kind of not self-love. I feel like. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I just
like-
feel like it comes down to this. Like we got it's life, and there's beautiful things that come with life, and we should enjoy them in moderation.
Right.
You know what I mean? Overindulging sometimes isn't the best thing. Sometimes we need to, take a couple weeks and eat healthy.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
not a problem when we want to enjoy the other things life has to offer.
Yeah,
you know?
that's so true though. Like my dad this past fall, or like it was like it's almost been a year. He had open heart surgery.
Oh, okay.
Almost lost him again to a heart attack.
My dad had one too.
Yeah, and so like
last
we
year.
had no idea this was coming. It was a huge surprise. But the doctor basically told him, he was like, you don't get to reverse the damage you've already done to those arteries and everything. So you can either take responsibility and start eating correct and be able to see your grandkids grow up, or you can just start digging your own grave.
Yeah.
And I was really worried because I was like, oh, good. Dad's not going to do this. But he really took responsibility and has done great at that.
That's
and
awesome.
so it's just I'm not.
Does he work out?
No.
No.
No,
But he does.
But
Eat
he
pretty.
does. He tries to eat as healthy, and
That's
like still to
awesome.
this day. And I was like, "Oh, great! This is gonna be one of those things where it lasts like 2-3 weeks, and then he's back at it." But no,
That's
But yeah, at the same
awesome.
time, he's like,
Yeah.
"No, I shouldn't have that donut." I'm like, "Dad, have the freaking
Donut.
donut. You deserve to have
Yeah.
it. Like you can
Yeah.
still have it.
Yeah.
You just can't sit there and eat a whole
Eat a
box of
box.
donuts."
Donuts.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And it's just I feel like that's something that you can relate to everything in life.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
you don't need to do this all the time, but every now and then treat
Absolutely.
yourself.
Yeah.
Like
And I'm gonna say this, and a lot of people might be upset with me, but even with people that smoke marijuana,
yeah.
I feel like yes, it's medicinal. Yes, it comes from the earth. Yes, there's benefits to it, and it's not harmful. But that don't mean like have blunt after blunt
doesn't-
all
smoke
day
Yes,
long.
every day.
and that is my biggest thing on it. I am fine with marijuana.
Yes.
I am fine with CBD. I'm fine with all of that.
Yeah.
I believe in all of it.
Yes.
Yeah,
But if that's all you're doing every single day and you're not doing anything with your life,
right.
That's
Moderation.
being abusive.
it might
Moderation.
For real.
And
for
taking
real.
it for granted.
Yes.
Like, Earth didn't give us this beautiful
abuse it.
plant to abuse it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, how are you treating it? Like, someone very close to me loves her marijuana, and I'm like, you go, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she is very successful. She
Absolutely.
isn't a freaking lazy pile laying on her bed all day. Like,
Yup.
she gets stuff done.
Yes.
Yep,
And then
yep.
in her free time,
Yeah.
she does that, and that's
exactly.
okay.
And that's fine.
that's fine.
I'm all for that.
And
Yes.
another thing, as long as you're not posting it on
Yes,
social,
I'm like, we
Why?
all know, like, you don't gotta post
Post
it.
it,
Yeah.
right?
Like, that's something I've learned too. Like, you don't gotta post everything.
That's how
Yeah.
you know who's doing it to look cool.
Yep.
But yeah, like you might a steak is good, a donut is good. Like
Right.
you said, maybe
Right.
don't eat the whole box of donuts.
Donuts.
I try not to.
Try not to.
Yeah.
I taste test every one of them, but I'm not eating them all.
Moderation, people. Moderation.
Moderation.
So, where would you say you are right now in life?
You know, it's my mom. She's not my favorite, so do not disturb doesn't apply to her. I'm just like, so like, but even with business, like I had these areas where I thought I needed to be, but I've learned that my journey is my journey, and just because someone got to that point in this amount of time doesn't mean I have to be there. And to give myself grace in everything and every single day, and that not every day is going to go as I planned.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
a couple Mondays ago, I was like, good Lord, what else do you want to throw at me? Like,
Yeah.
you know? And I'm still, just because I am almost 8 years sober, and just because I have been able to walk away from a relationship that at one point I thought was going to be my forever, and just because I've had life throw itself in
shit,
my
yeah.
face, and everything else, but have gotten through it, doesn't mean I'm still not going to have bad days. I still
Yeah.
have days where I am an absolute mess, crying, want to freaking toss the towel in, but I've learned also that I can't live there, and that
You have to get back up.
I have
and
to get
forward.
back up again, and especially knowing that I have a little 6-year-old little princess watching my literally every single move. Like, sometimes the joke in our family is, who's raising who? Presley's raising Connor.
That is
And so-
hilarious.
It's true.
I
She's
say
taught
that
me
too.
so much.
No,
Yeah.
literally, we're always like,
That's-
the kids are our teachers,
Yes.
and we follow them.
Yes.
we
We the
live
real
with the parents.
Yep,
We the
we're
real
not.
kids.
We're not.
No.
We're really not. I'm a big kid.
Yeah.
But just like, and I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I might decide to do something new tomorrow, and a different opportunity might throw its way at me. I had another opportunity throw its way at me this morning. I'm like, yes. Didn't know anything about this yesterday, but today I'm gonna do it.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
So,
do it.
I don't know. That's just
Just-
where I'm at. Doing a
That's-
little bit of everything.
That's awesome.
And
And
You'll
just
see
going
where
with the
life
flow.
goes.
yeah, I'm
And
going
I
with the
think-
flow.
I think you mentioned something really important on the podcast today is having grace with yourself. Every day having grace for yourself and just realizing that, I choose my route of
Yeah.
life. I cannot control events, but I can choose
I
how
can choose how I'm
handle
gonna
them.
react to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yep.
I think that's important. Grace, being easy on ourselves, not being so hard on
I've
ourselves.
learned
all
so
the
much
time.
about grace in the last year or two. Like, really didn't
Yeah.
know. I knew the word, but didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, thank God for it, because if it wasn't a thing, I don't know where I'd be.
Yeah.
Crying.
I would be in a corner just like, someone
Yeah.
come find me. But just like being able to just give myself
Self grace.
Yeah, that's what it's
Life
all about.
moves on. Life
It
goes
does.
forward.
It does.
Like you said, you never know what opportunity
No.
you may come across tomorrow,
and
next
it's-
week, a month from now, a year from
Yes.
now. Just
And I mean, it applies to everything: relationships, business, parenting, just life in general. And yeah. Like
Yeah.
everyone also is always like, well, when are you going to get married? Like, are you going to get married? I'm like,
I
I don't know. I'm not looking.
Yeah.
Like,
And
do I
you
want to? Yes.
shouldn't be.
I should. I'm probably like one of those people who should have every reason not to believe in love or relationships or marriage anymore. But I'm like, there's love out there. Prince Charming is coming
Yeah.
for me. He's just stuck somewhere in a
Somewhere.
freaking locked up cellar. It's okay.
Yeah.
It'll happen one day.
Yes, exactly. And just, yeah.
You should write a book.
You know what? The thing is I really want to. There's a lot. Yeah, I really want to write a book.
You should.
I haven't
Yeah.
started it yet,
Yeah.
but I've told myself since this idea came to my head that I'm going to write one eventually, because there's just so much I feel like I could give back to other
Yes.
people.
I agree.
And I mean, yes, you can listen, but sometimes you want it written down too to read it. And I mean, honestly, I kind of want that for me. I mean, to kind of look back and read
like,
through, wow, this is how far I've come.
Yeah.
And like, I'm really good at putting on a front sometimes, but it's when you get to know that you're like, she's that person because of what she's literally gone through and walked through.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of like a big fire ring and she's walking, that type of thing. And so I definitely do want to do that someday. It is a goal of mine. I don't know when it's going to happen.
It will happen when
But
it happens.
it will happen. Yes, literally.
absolutely.
When it happens, it will happen.
Yes.
And timing is everything, and I'm not in control of the clock.
Yes. Thank
Absolutely.
you. Thank
So,
you.
just like that, people, you know what I mean? When it comes down to it, nothing happens to us. Everything happens because of us. So
Well, then it really
if
happens
we-
for us.
Yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Not- like Connor said, nothing happens to us. It happens
For us, negative and positive.
Yes.
I love that piggyback you had on that because, sometimes we just gotta roll with the punches,
Yeah.
and our wounds are our wisdom, and just go with the flow of things.
Go with the
That's
flow.
what it's all about. And yeah, this is Connor Stewart, everyone.
Thank you
Hey,
so much
Thank you
for
so
being on the
much.
Ooh, I'm
podcast.
so excited. I'm so happy I was able to
Yeah.
do this with you
Yes.
guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
And if you didn't take anything from this podcast today, you probably need to listen to this again.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
We'll do a second segment, maybe a third, fourth, and fifth.
Roll it back,
Roll it
rewind the
back.
whole
Yeah.
thing, and take a second listen because for me, it was life changing hearing.
Thank you.
Your
I
perspective.
feel like I didn't even
and
touch
seeing
on
it.
everything that I could have either.
Yeah. No,
Okay,
it's all
there's
good.
another
We
time
got-
for that.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
got book coming soon to Amazon. Like she
Amazon
said,
Prime.
someday, be on the
No
lookout
delayed
for that.
shipping.
Be on the lookout for
All
that.
right.
It's people
Thank-
being people, everyone.
Woo woo. Bye.
Have a great Monday.
We'll see you
Self-love
next week.
isn't an easy journey.
Especially when you came from a really broken place inside of you.
It's an everyday choice.